Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep are the makers of premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to suit your needs and delivered right to your doorstep. Now, we've had our Helix Sleep mattress for what I thought was a few years, but it actually has been longer, and we've been getting incredible sleep, and it's something that I really appreciate when I travel because I often realize how comfortable our mattress is. The top of our mattress is nice and plush and comfortable, while the mattress itself is nice and firm, so our backs feel supported. My husband and I took the Helix Sleep quiz to find the perfect match for our mattress, and we matched with the Helix Sleep Dusk Luxe. I love that it is a perfect compromise for the both of us. I am a side sleeper. I like a firmer style mattress, and of course I share my bed with my husband, who also took the quiz, and it came up with a perfect compromise, especially if you compare it to our old mattress, and it served us well. We inherited it, but our Helix mattress is such an upgrade. My bed is super cozy, and my kids find our bed super cozy as well, and as a treat, when we read aloud at night, we read on the weekends in my bed, which is super cute and super cozy, and I love that it represents such a soft and safe and cozy place. Helix offers 20 unique mattresses, and they also have a line of mattress toppers, and I love this idea. I love the idea of extending the life of an existing mattress or making it more comfortable. All Helix Sleep mattresses come with a 120-night sleep trial to make sure you love it. There's a lifetime warranty, and there's seamless returns and exchanges. And if you live in the US, shipping is free. So why not make your winter extra cozy with Helix Sleep? You can click the link down below or head over to helixsleep.com/emmymade and take advantage of their President's Day exclusive partner offer. It's 27% off site-wide. Big thanks to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video and for their continued support so I can make better videos for all of you. Alright, my lovelies, today we were going to be making a viral sensation that has taken over South Korea and has now come to the United States. We are going to be making the viral Dubai Chewy Cookie. Doesn't that sound great? Today's recipe, of course, is inspired by the Dubai chocolate, which I made on this channel a while ago. I'll put a link to that video in case you missed it. But the Dubai chocolate was, of course, from Dubai, and at the time you could only find it in Dubai. It was a very thick chocolate bar that was filled with a shredded phyllo dough and pistachio cream, and you broke it. It was green inside and luscious and crunchy and pretty delicious. Now, you could only get it in Dubai at the time. They were $24 each, and that's what made it really exclusive and special, but now you can find it pretty much everywhere. You can buy them at Costco. I believe Trader Joe's even had a dupe for a little while. But today we're going to be making a chewy cookie that was inspired by the chocolate. Now, cookie is an interesting term because to me it looks a little bit more like a mochi, which is from Japan, but you can find different variations all over Asia, which is made of sticky glutinous rice that's chewy and sticky, and then inside is usually a sweetened bean paste filling or some kind of filling. But this, instead of being made out of rice cake, it's going to be made with a marshmallow exterior with the kataifi pistachio cream inside. So it's a round ball and you break it open and you've got this green, crunchy interior with this chewy, sweet, marshmallowy, cocoa powdery exterior. It sounds delicious and I really want to taste it, and now you can make it at home. There are lots of different recipes on the internet to make this, so that's what we're going to be doing today. But if you live in New York City, there are some places that are selling it, and I also heard that H Mart was selling a version as well, but I don't live near either of those places, so we're going to be making it from scratch at home. So let's go ahead get started. We're going to be making the filling for the cookies first, and you're going to need some kataifi, which is this. This is shredded phyllo, and you can make all kinds of little desserts with it, and it comes frozen, and it looks like this. It almost looks like a pasta or a fresh noodle. So I'm going to be adapting several recipes that I found for this, and as always, I'll put links to the originals down below. So I've got a few tablespoons of melted butter here, and I'm going to add my shredded phyllo to that. Of course, I've used kataifi before to make the homemade Dubai chocolate, but I've also used it to make a dish called kunefa, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it down below. It was a dessert that had cheese in it and a layer of the kataifi pastry, so it was crispy and buttery and stretchy and cheesy, but then it was perfumed with orange blossom syrup, and it was delightful. Such a great combination of textures, flavors, and scents. Alrighty, now we're gonna take our frozen kataifi. I'm gonna break it up a little bit to the melted butter. I'm gonna break it up a bit. I'm just gonna do half for now. And if I need more, I suppose I could toast more. But I really do want to try making hurricane shrimp. That sounds amazing. Okay, I'm gonna toss this in the butter. So when I made my Dubai chocolate, I toasted this in a pan, but a couple of the recipes I found suggested doing it in the oven, the toasting. So it's a little bit more even, and I like that idea. So let's try it. So got a baking pan here lined with some parchment, and I'm gonna add the shredded phyllo to it. And I'm gonna pop this into a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven that I've got preheating behind me for 8 to 10 minutes, or until everything is nice and golden brown. So let us do that. Alrighty, lovelies, I'm calling it that done. So as this was baking, I used my tongs to stir this around, and it took a lot longer than what was instructed in the recipe. It said 8 to 9 minutes, and it took me closer to 20 minutes. And it didn't say how thickly to lay the kataifi onto the pan, so maybe my layer was too thick. At any rate, this took me about 20 minutes, and as it was baking, I kept noodling it around with my tongs because I noticed that it was browning a little unevenly. So here it is. Isn't that great? Beautifully toasted and buttery. It smells great. And I'm going to let it cool. And as I'm stirring it around, I'm giving it a little bit of a crush. Listen to that crunch. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to make the filling. So we've got our pastry toasted. Next we need pistachio cream. And I purchased this one online, and it's only 200 grams, so a relatively small container. So I'm going to see how much of this I'm going to actually use in terms of the ratio. And that's all we're gonna do, combine the pastry cream with the toasted pastry. Now, I think it's pretty important to get the sweet version of pistachio cream. They also have a version where it's just ground pistachios, just like almond butter with no additional sugar, which I don't think will taste nearly as good as the sweetened version. I'm gonna taste it because I'm curious. That's what it looks like. And this one comes from Italy. Here we go. Oh, that's great. About as sweet as Nutella, and has a similar consistency. Delicious. Very, very smooth. So I'm gonna measure this for reference. I've got 1 cup, and I'm going to, I've got about 2 cups here. If I am eyeballing, yes, perfect. So that amount of pastry equals 2 cups toasted. I'm gonna add my pistachio cream and see what consistency we get. Just gonna mix that together. My concern is that I won't have enough cream to the amount of pastry that I have, but I think I'm gonna be all right. Okay, I'm just gonna add the rest of it. We don't want it to be dry, but we don't want it to be too soft either, because it needs to be scoopable. I think this is gonna be the perfect amount, actually. 200 grams of cream to half a package, which was about 2 cups toasted kataifi. Okay, so here's the consistency up close. Sounds very crunchy still. Great. Now we're gonna take scoops of this. Not sure how big to make them. I'm gonna make it this big. This is an ice cream scooper, and I'm going to scoop them into hemispheres. I also have this ice cream scooper, but I think this is gonna be too big. So let's go with this. It's hard to tell when you've never actually seen one in real life. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get about 9 of these. I might be able to get 12, would be so nice. Perfect, but not quite. Since this isn't quite enough for a whole one, let's go ahead and give it a taste. Just the filling. Itadakimasu. Boy, Can you hear that crunch? That's delightful. It reminds me of eating cereal. A little bit like shredded wheat in terms of a mouthfeel, but crunchier, scrumptious. Okay, that texture is phenomenal. So now we have to freeze these balls because we're going to enrobe them in a layer of marshmallow. And right now they're pretty loose. They don't really want to keep their shape. So we're going to freeze them so they get nice and firm. The recipe says 15 minutes, but I don't know, it might take longer than that. Have to see. Alrighty, lovelies, I'll be back when my balls are frozen. Alrighty, my lovelies, let's go ahead and make the marshmallow coating that's gonna go on the outside of our pistachio balls. So I've got a skillet heating here, and I'm going to melt a couple tablespoons of butter. I had a major kitchen fail while I was cleaning up. I had a sifter full of cocoa powder and I inadvertently hit it and cocoa powder flew everywhere. I had my kitchen drawer open and it was filled with cocoa powder. Absolute disaster. But we're mostly cleaned up. So there's some cocoa powder on my butter too, but we're gonna be fine because there's gonna be cocoa powder in here in the end. But, oh right, we're gonna calm down and melt our butter in this pan that's on, you know, medium heat. And then to that, we're going to add an entire bag of mini marshmallows. And we're just going to allow these to melt. But I read in a couple places that we don't want this to be completely melted or to overcook this because it changes the composition of the marshmallows. And if we cook this for too long, the resulting skin that we're going to create for our cookie is going to be too firm. So we don't want to do that. So warming this up. And we just want them to get kind of pooled and like puffed. Melted, but not all the way. About 50 or 60% melted. Okay, so things are happening, starting to melt. We want to keep that kind of stretchy, chewy thing that's going to go on here. And now I'm going to start to add my other flavorings. Some milk powder, a couple tablespoons. Sift that to break up any bits. And cocoa powder, 4 tablespoons. Take this off the heat, and we're just gonna mix all of those in. It smells great. It smells like hot chocolate. And this is gonna be the dough. It's gonna go on the outside of our little cookies, I guess we're calling them. So I'm gonna make sure all those marshmallows are incorporated, and they are. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on this pan so that the marshmallow doesn't stick. Smear it around. And then pour this mixture onto the pan so that it can cool off a bit. This is a non-stick pan, but it's still stuck. Funny how that works. So there is the mixture, kind of neat looking. So I've got these little cupcake liners dusted with some cocoa powder, and then we're going to place them into there once we're done. Here are our chilled fillings. They've been in the freezer, so they're nice and firm. I'm going to put some gloves on because it was recommended. Using my gloved hands, I'm going to add a little bit of oil to them so that the marshmallow doesn't stick. Pinch off a piece. Ooh. Okay. It's very soft. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make this into maybe 8 or 9 pieces. Kind of impossibly sticky. Lube up my hands with some oil. So I've got my blob. I'm gonna place my cookie inside the filling and then work this around it. I oiled my gloves already and it's still sticking. So maybe you have to wait for it to cool more? I don't know. It's kind of impossibly sticky. Wow. Roll it around it. And then you get this kind of shiny sphere. And I'm going to roll it into my cocoa powder. Okay, dust it. And then plop it into our liner. Boom. Looks kind of like a truffle. All right, let's try that again. Use a tool to cut the marshmallow. Lube your hands liberally with oil. Don't allow it to sit too long. Kind of work at like a hot potato, I think. Take a ball, place it in there, Gotta work really fast. The longer it sits on your hand, the more likely it's gonna melt and stick. Okay, great. Once it's on the kataifi ball, it seems to be all right. Then I'm gonna take some of my cocoa powder. Wow, I'm making a great mess here. And dust it on the ball. Boop, 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 boop. And then into the cupcake liner. But I don't wanna drop it in there because I don't wanna mess up the edges. So let's just do it gently if we can. Oh yeah, that one looks velvety. Yes, baby, perfect. Okay, I think I'm understanding this now. Grab the marshmallow with a spoon and then place your filling. Then working quickly, mold it around. Then dust. I can see why they charge, I think $6 or $7, $8 for one of these. They are a bit of work. All right, I'm gonna keep going and then we're gonna give them a taste, okay? All right, it mostly worked. Alrighty, my lovelies, I've wrapped all of my cookies and I ended up getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Not too bad. They turned out pretty stinking cute. Look at this one. Look at that. I love how velvety it looks. So stinking cute. So as I was working the marshmallow, it did get a little bit less sticky as it cooled down. So when I was working with it initially, it was so very sticky, and I think it was because it was still a little bit too warm. So when you make yours, let it cool just for a couple minutes. You don't want it to sit too long, otherwise it won't stick and hold together. So tricky thing when you're first working out a recipe, right? Now for the moment that I've been waiting for, I want to know what this tastes like, but let's first rip it open and see what it looks like inside. So here we go. Look at that. Oh my gosh, you're so gooey. This one has a lot of marshmallow. Too much marshmallow, I think. But that's what it looks like inside. Pretty delectable. Alrighty, let's give it a taste. Itadakimasu. That interior is incredible. Look at that. So crunchy. I love how the pastry remains very, very crunchy. Even though it's completely surrounded by this pistachio cream, it's still so crunchy. Great pistachio flavor. And the chewy texture on the outside is delightful. Very reminiscent of mochi. Look at this. It's like a cheese pull, right? Look at that. But sweet. I truly think the marshmallow here has been transformed. With that dusting of chocolate and the addition of milk powder, it no longer tastes like the inside of a s'more. Although I should try it by itself because the filling is certainly influencing it. But alone, I would guess mochi first before I would guess marshmallow. Oh, the texture is so great. It's so chocolatey. I'm trying to see if I can taste the milk powder, but it's really hard to discern. It's so good. I love how the marshmallow has been transformed here. And I really love the texture. It's so chewy and stretchy and bouncy. And then you have that contrasted with the crunchy filling that's rich and creamy, yet crunchy. Delightful. Look at that. I might like this more than the chocolate bar. It's almost like bubble gum. Fluffy and chewy. Great. So great. I love it. Alrighty, my lovelies. That's how you can make the absolutely delightful viral Dubai Chewy Cookie at home. It is such a playful textural experience. I've never had anything like it in terms of both flavors and textures, but mostly textures. I mean, I've had mochi before, but this is crunchy in the middle, which is a really nice counterpoint to the stretchy, soft kind of chewiness that's on the outside. You've got familiar flavors of marshmallow and chocolate, but then you've got pistachio, which is really surprising. It's delightful. I think I like it more than the Dubai chocolate. In terms of level of sweetness, it's a little bit pulled back. It's not as sweet as the chocolate bar. And the cheese pull-like action of the marshmallow on the outside is delightful in the experience and in flavor as well. It's a little finicky to make, I have to say, especially if you're doing it for the first time. But after I did a few, it became a lot easier and well worth it. In terms of cost, I spent probably about $20 and I got 9 full ones, a couple extra fillings. And I know they're selling them in New York for $34 for 4 and $6.99 for 1. So definitely is a cost savings in that respect. And plus you can share. Alrighty, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to take advantage of their President's Day exclusive partner sale, it's 27% off site-wide. You can click the link down below or head over to helixsleep.com/emmymade. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! I'm gonna try pulling this apart close up on camera again once these are completely cooled, and hopefully I'll get one that's not so stretchy and you can see the interior better. It's so much fun. Who comes up with this? Geniuses. Love, 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 love. Okay, you gotta stop eating all of the dessert. So good.